This is the Brother Side Podcast. I'm Alex Pearson.
I'm Justin Pearson.
Today we have a special guest from the West Coast. We have Jeffery Osborns, the executive producer from Graveyard Carz. They just wrapped up their 13th season, about to start number 14. Maybe they have started 14. They've shot nearly 504 shows, and the show is about MOPAR muscle cars. Welcome, Jeffery Osborns. How's it going, man?
Yeah, things are good. Things are really good. We're real busy working on it. Season 14.
Awesome. Well, Jeffery,
we actually just premiered this last Tuesday.
Last Tuesday was the first episode?
Episode 1, yep.
Nice. Well, Jeffery, we always like to start off our show talking about the drink of choice, and today we have Red Bull. It gives you wings, right?
Well, yeah, I hope so.
What? And why is your preferred drink Red Bull out of all energy drinks?
That came from our retail days. I used to work retail management at Forever 21, and every retail person has Red Bull in their hand nonstop because you got to keep your energy up. And I just got hooked, and now it's kind of my norm.
Nice. I'm more of a Monster Bang fan.
What's that?
I said I don't think my urologist is going to appreciate it when I have a kidney stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True that.
Yeah.
So, Jeffery, you're born and raised in Oregon, correct?
I was born in Oregon, and I moved around a lot. And then I landed back in Oregon in 2000.
Okay.
I've been back ever since.
Nice. And
We moved around to California and stuff as well.
And you're located in Eugene, Oregon, correct?
Yeah, Eugene, home of the Ducks.
Oh, all right.
I don't know that we agree with that. We're
Yeah.
Husker fans over here, of course.
Husker fans all the way. We don't have another choice, really. We don't have much of anything, so this is what we have. Huskers.
Do you still have Scott Frost?
Yeah, we still like him. Yeah, I think for the realistic fan, we understand that it's going to take time. Things haven't gone our way, but it better start turning around. It's gotten to the point, I think. So
Fans are tired.
yeah,
That's for sure.
We're ready to have a winning season. Yeah.
Oh, you got a good coach. He used to be a Duck coach. He's going to get it together.
Well, and that's kind of what we were hoping for because he had so much success at the Oregon Ducks, and now we're not seeing that success.
No.
No.
So
I know, that's right.
did you go to Oregon for college?
Yeah, I went to the University of Oregon from 2003 to like 2006. Then I did a classic dropout, and I went to retail for 12 years.
Nice.
And then I quit that and went back to school.
Okay. And
Something told me I wasn't supposed to be working at Forever 21 my whole life.
I can only imagine, what the parents might say about that, right?
Yeah, the retail game is hard. That's for sure. The retail game's hard. I can see why you need a Red Bull on your hand all the time.
Were you in a fraternity at Oregon?
No, I was a homebody. I lived in Junction City, and that was 20 minutes north of U of O. And I had a girlfriend back in Junction, so I just go back to JC all the time, hang out with the girl. And then she dumped me, right?
Of course.
Damn it,
Win.
Brittany.
And then I got over it.
Yeah. Well, we kind of want to cut into, what it is you do for the show Graveyard Carz and kind of elaborate. It's a show on Motor Trend that features MOPAR muscle cars. Can you explain to our listeners what MOPAR muscle cars are?
Yeah, of course. MOPAR muscle cars are old, classic Dodge. Well, there's another one in there. Chrysler, perhaps. And they're from 1968 to 1972, that range.
Sure.
So they're really big back in Mopars are really big before the gas taxes came in back in the early 70s. They had to stop making all muscle cars like that. But some people hold on to those memories. This is a lot of MOPARs growing up, whether it was job interviews or taking their girlfriends out, driving the gut, or some people get engaged in their cars, they get married in their car. So we have a lot of stories like that on our show. We always our show is about cars, but it's about the stories of the cars and the owners. So we get a lot of insight in what it was like to grow up in the 70s.
Sure. I noticed some of the muscle cars that you guys represent are Dodge, Plymouth, Chrysler. How come like Ford Mustang or Chevy Chevelle is not included in the MOPAR group?
Yeah, it's a great question. They just aren't. They're rivals, actually. MOPARs are completely different than anything that Ford puts out there. We're just big on the Hemis, big on the muscle, big on the colors. MOPARs had really hot colors. They had like Moulin Rouge pink, or they had Panther pink, or they had what else? G5 blue, like all these colors that really pop. I don't think Ford has too many cars like that, unless it's like a specialty car that someone customly made, maybe put a wrap on it or a nice paint job. But ours are, our cars turn out the same way that they were sold on the assembly line back in the 70s. So everything's to the detail is the exact same.
Wow, that's crazy.
Wow.
How are you finding parts for these cars?
Parts are hard to come by.
China.
No, MOPAR parts are hard to come by. But there's a huge community out there for MOPARs. They're gearheads. They love it. And so we use a lot of NOS parts. Those are new old stock parts, usually found on shelves. They were there. They never were used. We just have to blow the dust off and install it. And then you have remanufactured parts. They're made to just doing it now with our new modern technology. So little things like that keep the business going. We have a lot of partners in the industry with MOPAR. Mark Warman, he's the MOPAR ambassador, which is a little feather in his cap.
Sure.
He'll remind you every day about it. We have this guy named Tony D'Agostino. He's the Mark Warman of the East Coast. He lives in Philadelphia, and he's on the show a lot, and he's our fact checker. But he also owns, so he's been collecting MOPAR parts his whole life, and we lean on him for a lot of the parts and a lot of advice.
Sure. How'd you guys get the inspiration for this show? It seems, you're kind of redoing these cars. I think back to the days of, West Coast Choppers and Pimp My Ride.
Yep.
It's kind of something to that extent, correct?
Yeah, Mark's been working on cars forever. This is what he does. This is his livelihood, and so he had a friend who ended up being the father of the producer of the show, the executive producer. And he said, well, why don't you have my son come down and film you guys just to see what it looks like? And they brought some cameras down, some little small DSLR cameras, did a real rough recording of it. We edited it up. Mark liked what he saw. He said, why don't we do this all the time? This is pretty much what we do. Let's just turn Aaron Smith's our co-founder, our executive producer, and he's the one with the master plan. He's been here from the beginning, him and Mark.
Wow. Yeah, I was looking at kind of the cast of the show, and it seems like maybe there's only 3 people that are originals out of the 14th season.
Right. Yeah, there was a big shift. There was an original cast that, a lot of the Graveyard Carz fans really grew attached to. This guy at? Where is this person at? But as time goes, we need to get the best people in the building to get the best product out the door, to get the best product on television. So obviously casts and production crew, they shift over time. I mean, we've been around for 12 years now, so it's going to be hard to keep that crew together. But we really are optimistic, and we love the team that we have right now. We're just doing really amazing things with a much smaller team. They get to offer more.
Sure.
And a lot more credit.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the current cast. Like, who are they? You know, how do they represent the brand?
Yeah, you got Mark Warman. He's the MOPAR king. He's this guy right here giving the thumbs up.
Yeah.
That guy.
He's a caricature.
He is definitely
I can
that.
tell.
Yeah.
And Mark's he's the owner. He's the showrunner here, and has his daughter working here with him, Alyssa Rose.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
She's here as a parts person. She's the QC employee, make sure everything's up to top notch for quality control. We also have Will the painter. He's our number one painter.
Mm-hmm.
And him and Mark have been working together for 25 years now.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, Will's been with Graveyard Carz since near the beginning. I think at season 5. I think keeping him around has been huge. The fans love Will the painter, and then we have cousin Dougie. That's Mark's cousin.
Okay.
He's kind of like the oddball character, but he's also the fan favorite. Everyone loves Doug because he reminds you of someone that you knew back in the day, whether it was an endearing father who taught you really well or a good coach, or he's just such a kind person, and it really shines on camera. So we really like Doug. We tell him, man, you're a star. We're trying to make you a star. We also have Royal Yoakum. That's one of Mark's childhood friends. He just rejoined the cast. He was one of the original cast members. He left for a few seasons. Now he's back. We call him Chrome Dome.
Chrome Dome.
So it's a pretty small cast.
Is that pretty much all that work in the shop then? Is those people? Everybody, I mean, there's nobody that's not on the show.
Some helpers around in the body shop. We have some body men in the Bondo room. We have some techs in the engine room. We have an assembly tech. But we have a pretty small team here. On the car building side, there's only 9 of them, including Mark. So
Okay.
that's not a lot of manpower. But
No.
we're getting those cars out, and we're making us really happy.
Do you have to embellish anybody's personality for TV, or is everybody truly who they are on TV?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Or maybe you
That's
can't
who
give
they
up.
are. Yeah, that's who they are. That's Mark. Mark is even worse when the cameras aren't on because he's, a lot cutting floors. Let's say that. We're trying to project for our next career, and that's going to be on HBO with our uncensored Graveyard Carz, where we can let it all loose, not have to worry. Don't have to worry about the bleeps anymore.
Sure.
One day.
Yeah, I understand that. I work at a fire station, so I totally get the on camera, off camera type of vibe, around public, not around public. I think people would be horrified.
And Mark's characters evolved a lot over the years too. From the early seasons, he was a lot more rough. We had more familiar assaults and stuff like that. But now he's older. He's a little more calm. He's a little bit more fair with his cast members, and he's just having a lot of fun right now. I think maybe in the early seasons he was stressed out, but now we're just really enjoying what we do. Every day is a great opportunity it's such a crazy job that we have, and every day we walk in here, it's just a blessing, and I didn't think this was ever going to happen. I'd be able to call this place my home, my work home, but.
So how'd you get involved with the show? Because you've only been at the show for 5 seasons. What were you doing before, and how'd you get recruited onto this show?
Yeah, so, I did the retail thing for 12 years. Instead of committing suicide, I quit, and I went back to school for multimedia design, which was a good decision. I'm really happy I did that.
Stay in
Now-
school, kids.
Just as a production assistant, I'd be behind the scenes, just learning and soaking in the environment and, asking all those questions that I had in my head. And I learned a lot during the internship. Then after I left there, I graduated from Lane Community College, and I stayed on as the editor-in-chief of a newspaper there. So I had to do that for a calendar year, and that was quite an experience. I never did that before. Working, but when I was interning here, I told them that I'm on the market. The next day I got hired. They offered me the job, and I took it. There was no question, no hesitation. I started off as a audio recordist and a production assistant, so I was, the bottom of the rung. And you just, you try your hardest, and you don't make excuses, and people reward effort all the time. Efforts remind people that, and if you give your effort out there, there's no way people are going to ignore it. So that's what I did, and then opportunities opened up. People were leaving during COVID for health reasons, and there was a lot of opening positions. So I took that executive producer job. Now I'm the line producer. So that's kind of like the administrator. I do all the human resource stuff, payroll, tax information. That's because of my experience at Forever 21. I always was doing admin stuff there, HR stuff there, and it just, as much as I hated retail, I sure gained a lot of huge friends that I still hold today. And all those coaching techniques that I've learned, hired over 500 employees. So
Holy
you get a lot
cow.
of experience of the good.
That's
You get a lot of
crazy.
experience with the good employees, the bad employees, and everything in between.
So you're saying there's some turnover at Forever 21.
Turnover, yeah, there's turnover in retail. That's for sure. It's designed that way
Yeah.
so that they don't have to pay you too much.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, I guess I've never thought of it that
You guys
way.
ever?
I have not.
A little bit back when I was young. Yeah.
Where'd
yeah.
you work?
I worked at Petco.
Oh, that's right.
I worked at Hy-Vee, which is a grocery store here in Omaha. So a little bit of retail, but not extensively. That's for sure.
Yeah. My retail experience actually started at Blockbuster. Rest in peace. 'Cause I sure loved, that was one of my favorite jobs of all time.
Hey, there's still
Now I'm at home watching documentaries when Blockbuster was big.
there's still one Blockbuster in Oregon, isn't there?
Yeah, there's one left.
That's funny.
I think there's 3 in the world and one in Oregon.
That's funny. I was kind of looking on your guys' website, and kind of back to your role with the company. So you hold many roles outside of executive producer. I saw you're the sound recordist, the camera operator at times. You're in film editing, cinematography, and even the electrical department. I don't know what that means, but
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
that's
It's wild, man. That's kind of the dream of mine. I perform the best when I can just really hammer everything. There's never a down moment. This is my down moment, actually, is talking to you guys. So thank you for that break.
Yeah.
Like I said, you put that effort out there and you're going to get rewarded. So the more that you can do, the more that your employer is going to lean on you to do things. And then that's exactly how I got where I'm at.
Sure, makes sense.
Some of the stuff I do is like, I'll be a sub-sick. I'll man one of the main cameras. Most of the cinematography I do is the drone work. So anything you see with the drone, I'm the pilot and capturing that. So we're using a lot of drone work in season 14.
Okay.
Might have something to do with me being the executive producer, but I like my shot. got to make sure they get on TV.
Yeah, for sure. Drones are fun to fly anyways, right?
Yeah, and a lot of the shots you can get with the drone are really good. Like, that's cool.
I use the drone a little unorthodox. I get a lot of the aerial shots, obviously, that are really popular, but I also do a lot of hand holding of the Mavic 2 Pro. Use it as a gimbal, and I just walk around and capture the smooth motions wrapping around the car or wrapping around a subject. Really brings a lot of dynamism to the production, increases the quality, and that's, those are the little tricks that we're trying to make in it. So we're gonna give them what they want.
Sure. And to hit on the show even more, you told me in our conversation there's about 180 car shows out there, but you're the only MOPAR show on TV. Is that correct?
Well, I tried clarifying this a little bit. There's actually, on Motor Trend Network, there's 504 shows.
Okay.
Okay.
I had that mixed up.
That's that. Graveyard Carz 200 episodes. I think this season we might hit, but nothing too big, right?
Yeah.
They said it couldn't be done.
Yeah, what was the goal when they started filming? Was it to hit 15 seasons, or we'll just do it for as long as we want to do it? I mean, what's the future look like?
We're just storytellers. Cars. There's a lot of stories to be told. People want to tell them. They're so passionate about their cars. Like I said, like they're a family member to them. So that's our job, is to keep on telling these stories. As long as the fans are interested in the stories, they're asking for more. They're asking for more details. That's exactly what we give them. We're very good with our fans. We do a lot of back and forth. We listen to them. We'll make adjustments accordingly. A part of me likes that. A part of me doesn't like that. But we really want to give them the product that they're asking for. So, social media is a gift and a curse, but we try to use it as a gift.
Sure. Through this show, how many cars have been flipped?
Great question. Maybe, I don't know the answer. I say maybe 40 in the 14 seasons. We might do 5 in a season.
Oh, really?
Some seasons have more deliveries than others. I know this season we have a lot of deliveries. A lot of customers are getting their cars back this year, which is very nice. Mark likes the Bunsen burners, nice little earners. So we're just putting the money back into the program, though, into the company. We're getting better tools, better sponsors.
When you're talking about only doing 5 cars a season, how long does it take to flip one car typically?
There's a contract of about 3 years, if I'm correct. Well, that's the understanding when we write these contracts, but sometimes we do it quicker. We did 1 car last season in 38 days, and then some have lasted a little bit longer for whatever precarious reasons. I know COVID hitting was a little interesting for us, and we had a lot of heavy fires up here in the Northwest. It was really bad this summer. So we had a lot of ash that could do a lot of damage to a lot of cars. And so we have to adjust accordingly and do the best that we can. Luckily, we have so many cool mausoleum out in the graveyard that we could put all the cars under. We have a beautiful assembly room here that's full of just classic cars. So we're able to keep it safe from the elements, but it does make things a little bit more difficult.
You said that all these cars are 6-figure cars, correct? And that you guys have
Some
had.
of them are.
And then there's been one that you sold for $1 million?
It was a Coronet, a Dodge Coronet. It was one of 2. There's only 2 ever made. One's gone, so this is the last survivor. And we redid it to the same specs that it came off the assembly floor with. And when we got our driving footage, everybody, hurt their bending over to try to get a look at it. It's quite a spectacle when we drive around town in Springfield, Oregon, showing off these cars. Everybody, they're used to us now, so they kind of expect us, and they want on the show, or maybe if they yell at us or honk, maybe that'll make the show. So that actually causes a little bit of obstacles, but we're a really good team here. We know what to do.
Nice. Do you guys have any type of meet and greets where, people can come in and take a look at all the cars, on a quarterly basis or anything like that?
Definitely. We encourage people to come visit the shop here in Springfield. We're right next to Eugene, so if that's confusing to people, Eugene, we're located in Springfield, and our doors are always open for our fans to come in. We can give them tours of the shop. We have a merch shop here. People like to go in and purchase their hoodies and shirts and hats and things of that sort. So we have a lot of fans here every day. Now that's COVID season, it's a little different. We're trying to follow all these protocols and safety guidelines, and we're not supposed to be having a lot of fans over right now. So they keep on coming in, and I do my best to make sure that they are heard and that they get to see what they want. Unfortunately, Mark and the cast, they're often really busy. We're working hard, so it's hard to pull them away from cars. Luckily, our fans are understanding. Once in a while, they get a photo of Mark and the cast, though. A lot of signatures they're asking for. So it's kind of unique,
Sure.
We'll come back from lunch, and there'll be 5 cars in the parking lot just waiting for Mark. And
Yeah, you guys are definitely celebrities up there for sure. Have you guys sold any of these cars to famous people, like celebrities?
Well, so we don't sell them per se. We have clients that hire us to redo their car or to make a car, like a tribute car for them. So we've had some celebrities for sure. Jim Root was here last season. He wasn't here, but we're working on his car currently.
Sure.
Oh,
He
okay.
was, don't quote me on that. We also have Bill Goldberg. We've had 3 of his cars here. He's like WWF
Yep.
Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And he's his car's featured in this season right now that we're working on. He was all over episode 1 of season 14.
Okay.
So we're just breaking down his car. We're restoring it. He's got a nice CUDA here it's a black CUDA with a red hockey stripe decal, which is unheard of. But we're trying to make it Louise that hockey stripe. You couldn't get it in red back in the day.
Interesting.
I gotta take a break.
Is it break time?
It's break time.
Gotta take a break and thank our sponsors.
Are you committing yourself to exercising in 2021? We can't help you keep your head out of the Cheetos bag, but we can help fix up your exercise equipment. Don't let your fitness equipment be the reason you don't hit your goals. Call Fitness Machine Technicians today. Fitness Machine Technicians repair and maintain all makes and models of fitness equipment. Some of our clients include hotels, apartments, gyms, corporate companies, assisted living, physical therapy, and let's not forget the homeowners. Fitness Machine Technicians keep your equipment fit to keep you fit. Give us a call at 402-871-4735.
All right, we're back with the Brother Side Podcast. We have Jeffery Osborns with Graveyard Carz, and we're just discussing the show and some of the people that have been on it. One of the questions I wanted to get into here was, what's the waiting list like for people to bring a car into you guys for a rehab? Like how long, if I said, hey, I want this car, am I 3 years out? Am I 4 years out?
Yeah, you're loose 3 years out.
Wow.
Jeez.
We say loose because we might get it done quicker, or it might take a little bit longer. We're so lucky we have so many fans that are patient and loyal to us, and so it's important that we get the cars out in their decisions that they made. And with each reveal, that's the biggest part of our show is the reveals. Just to see the owner, see the car for the first time in this state I haven't seen a car like that for 30 years. My mouth's off. What was that? That's 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So they're usually really shocked. There's a lot of emotion involved in the reveals. And that's what makes it all worth it. Sometimes they got to wait a little longer than they anticipated, but they're so them from their mouth, it was all worth it.
It's kind of like the same principle as having a baby. Just a lot of emotion tied into it, your first kid.
What do you know about it?
Yeah, well, I just had my first kid, so. Hey, I got a random question.
Well, congrats.
Yeah, thanks. Has there ever been a catastrophic failure when redoing these cars? Like, you just get it done and someone pulls it out and, like, wrecks it into something?
No, thank God. The only catastrophic things that we've done is, like, paint a car the wrong color, like the wrong shade, like the wrong formula, and then we got to redo it. We've had to redo some paints for sure, which could be damaging. That's a lot of resources. That material to have to reglass
Sure.
a new car, like it can be very expensive. But that's why it doesn't happen very often. We try to learn for the season that had a color complication. So we'll see if you guys can spot it.
Yeah, I doubt we can. So you said there's no one else that does MOPAR TV shows. Why do you think that is?
Yeah.
Why are you the only show out there?
Well, because it's kind of like a historic show. Like, you got to do research on it if you weren't around back then. It's all foreign. This is very foreign for these. I don't know anything about it, so I want to be very good at it. Similarly, we have people out there who don't have the parts. They don't have access to the parts that you guys brought up earlier. Mopar parts are really hard to come by. They're very expensive. They're overpriced, right? So some people aren't going to put that out there. It's not really worth it. Luckily, we have the show. We have partners. We have sponsors. So it makes it a lot easier for us. This is Mark's terrain. He's dominating the Mopar world, and I don't know who'd want to step up with that.
When we talked, one of the interesting things that you brought up was that your show, one of the goals for the show was to try and get an Emmy. And I just didn't think a car show could get an Emmy. Can you elaborate on that more and what category that would even fall under?
A random one. I don't have it off the top, but it's something about reality TV.
Okay.
Unscripted reality TV, something like that. I'd have to get the language, but usually it's comedians getting coffee in cars with Jerry Seinfeld. Mm-hmm. That's the guy that wins in our field every year. But COVID hit, so there's a lot of production companies that aren't out there. A lot of shows didn't air this year. So we kept on going, and we're going to start tooting our horn and start campaigning for a little Emmy. I think it's going to be great. I think we're going to get it. Even if we don't get a win, let's get a nomination. So then I can always say I'm the executive producer of an Emmy-nominated show. Doesn't sound bad. I'm sure Mark would use that in his title somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
That's good notch in the belt. Screw Jerry Seinfeld, right?
Yeah. You know what? He's had his day. He had his time. Sounds like Graveyard Carz is going to have theirs.
That's right.
What's one of the most difficult things when producing this show?
There's a lot of difficult things, but the more that you do it, for me, the hardest part is the line producing side. Making sure everyone's happy and controlling all these egos, everyone. It can be difficult to manage employees and cast members, and to do it the right way is important to uplift them and to give them a voice. That's what we try to do. That's what I try to do. I think I'm doing a good job, but that is a difficult part, trying to pull things out of people to you, or things of that sort can get kind of old, but that's why I'm in this position. It's because I have a lot of experience coaching people up, and that's kind of one of the biggest values that I bring to the team is that team builder.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's probably the hardest part of the job. Outside of that, the hardest parts are always going to be audio and lighting.
Sure.
Those are so important to production, and it's often the least practiced. I know at school they gave us like one class on lighting, one class on audio, and it's just not enough. It can make or break any production. So having good lighting and having that audio is what we really focus on, because the rest is pretty simple.
Sure. Well, I'd say one of the most difficult things is probably dealing with that guy behind you.
Mark was difficult for me, to be honest. He's a hard guy. He's a caricature, so you just never know. But he's such a endearing guy. We've gotten close over the years, and I think he's done so much, and he should be so proud of everything he's done. I really look up to what he's been able to accomplish, and I love the fact that he's trusting in me more and more. The more I can prove myself, the more he leans on me, and that's all I ever want. I always want to be your favorite employee. I want to be someone that you don't ever have to worry about. He's a good guy. He's got my back, and so that's what I try to offer to him, and he's hearing me now. So less nicknames and more serious talks with him and me now.
How long did it take to earn that trust?
It took a couple years. I think people saw something in me pretty quickly, that I'm a little different than others. I might walk a little faster. I might be more on the nose, which is a good thing. And you slowly gravitate towards that. You gravitate towards conversations with those people, because you don't want to ask someone a question if they don't know what they're talking about. So you're just wasting your time. So when they find out that you got someone on the staff, they just start piling up stuff on your plate. Luckily, I have a big appetite. I've always had a big appetite, and I'm just looking for more. I'm always asking for seconds.
That's a good analogy. I
Yeah.
like that.
It sounds like leadership's really important to you. Is there anything that got you into leadership or made you focus on that?
Yeah, Forever 21.
Well, outside of Forever 21.
Isn't that weird, man? I've tried to be a leader with every opportunity I've ever gotten. Even in middle school and high school, I was class president. I was school vice president. I was editor for the yearbook 4 years. All the sports, team captains on sports, so whenever I had an opportunity to grow and shine, that's what I was trying to do. And then outside of that, I did coaching for sports. I coached track for 3 years. I coached lacrosse, and I coached basketball. So, and all different age groups. So you learn different coaching techniques with ages, and different coaching techniques with different sports. So I've always been an encouraging person. I'm pretty blunt,
Sure.
when I see talent, I gravitate towards it, and I try to pull more of it out. And if you don't have talent, then I'm gonna try to give you some inspiration, but you're probably not gonna be here too long, because we need some talented people in here. That kind of came off a little like an asshole, but
I liked it.
Hey, that's you being blunt, right?
Yeah, that's part of the game.
What's the strategy to continue to increase the ratings for the show? Because, 14 seasons in, you got to start getting creative to make things look different, in season 14 than they do season 1.
Definitely. Yeah, so things that we're doing is we're increasing our tools, our resources. We're getting better cameras. We went from Panasonic DVXs to Black Magics, which is really nice, you know, a much better color bit for color correction. And the image is so much better and sharper. We also added animation back in season 12. So now we're a little animated. We have animated segments. Mark wanted to have a cartoon because he thinks it's bullshit how South Park and The Simpsons can get away with anything. They can say anything.
Right.
And they can be as crude as possible. They get away with it because they're a cartoon. So now we have Cartoon Mark talking about some client with a third butthole and with an arm stick a bit more when it's a cartoon because it's supposed to be comical. So that's kind of nice. We're using more of that. We also do a lot of our own advertising. Motor Trend, the company, the network, they do a good job promoting us, but we do a lot more. We go on our social media and we make our little teasers for each episode. On this episode of Graveyard Carz, and then those little teasers will bring more people to the show. We have we're always reminding people. We have a good relationship with our fans on Facebook. We got 3-point-something million fans and followers. So social media is a huge tool for us, and we try to use it as a great tool. And that's with these little teasers. We try to make it look like it's any other big production television show. They get their commercials on television. We don't have commercials on television, so we'll use our social media.
Sure. So you said 3.7 million followers?
Yeah. Mark's been working on it for a long time. We had an Instagram too, and his Instagram got hacked, so we lost all those followers. Oh. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get him back.
Yeah, that sucks. I guess that's pretty close to our following. It's
right around there.
A couple mil.
I mean, it's 3.7 something.
Yeah.
Maybe not million, but
3.7 people. Yeah, just people. That's seven's a midget.
Yeah.
0.7's a midget. No. So I got.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe some of our fans will see this and we can share.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be the goal here. One of the questions I want to ask: what's the future of the show? Heading into season 14, how many more seasons do you think you can keep this going? What's the goal, the end goal, or the finish line for the show?
Mark wants us to retire here, so we're going to do this till the wheels fall off. I could see us being in season 25 before you know it. We do 2 seasons a year, a calendar year, so it adds up pretty quick.
Yeah, wow.
The plan is crazier builds, crazier engines, crazier colors. We're a big attraction at SEMA every year, so we're going to be big there. We're always revealing something. They're so generous with Mark, and they give us engines that no one else has in the world, like the Elephant. We had the Elephant a couple years ago at SEMA, and they said, this is yours, Mark. And then all they want is for us to put it in a badass car and have it ready for next year's SEMA. And that's what we did. We put it in the movie car Christine. Mm-hmm. And so we had that bad bitch out there, and it had an Elephant, just the biggest engine in the world. And
that's crazy.
We had model number 001.
Wow. That's pretty special.
Yeah, we're just trying to get bigger, trying to get better.
What would that mean to you guys to be the #1 car show in the world?
You know, it'd mean the world to me. I like to move the needle a lot. If I'm on a team, I want to make it better. I want us to see success. I know success is there. I've only experienced success as well. So we just need more people to buy in to the brand that we have here. And there's just no way we're not going to achieve our goals. And being the #1 car show would be huge. We were in the middle of the pack last year on the network for Motor Trend, and then we made our way up to the topper tier pretty quickly in one season. There's no reason why we can't make another jump. I expect us to make another jump. I anticipate that. I'd be disappointed if we didn't. So I'm not focusing my energy on not doing it because we're currently doing it. There's just no, we're going to be the #1 show.
I like that. That's bold.
No doubt. It's just you have to have that confidence. You know, if you don't have it, who's going to have it?
Well, no other show is like ours. I mean, our show's off the wall. It's crazy. It's Mark. It's cartoons. It's relationships. It's his family. It's the comedy. It's Will. I mean, it's Cousin Dougie.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's hard to beat us.
Could you ever envision the show without Mark? I mean, is the show kind of based around him more or less?
Yeah. It's kind of like a BBC Office. Mm-hmm. He's kind of like that. Yeah. That Brent character. Mm-hmm. Laughs at his jokes a lot. Thinks he's really funny, and takes other people's jokes. You know, uses them as his own. Then he'll give credit at the end. That's Mark in a nutshell, but he's expanded his character so much. Now he's such a MOPAR guy, obviously. He's such a movie quote guy. He's always, every episode, he's got a different classic, like a different shirt on, shouting out a movie, whether it's Christine or Hills Have Eyes or something crazy like that. And that's something that the fans really like. They're always looking at what's Mark wearing and how can we buy that. But it's just Mark. That's who he is.
Since we're back on the cast, does the cast ever get tired of the cameras being around? Do they get fatigued of the show ever?
Sure they do. Some are new to it. Some are newer to the camera, like Cousin Dougie. Mm-hmm. He started maybe 3 seasons ago, really being on camera, being interviewed and being a character. And he was really shy about it. He's really uncomfortable around cameras, which we highlight in the show, you know, that's comedy.
Right.
But now he's seeing episodes, he's seeing what we're doing, and he's really loving it. So once they see the product, they can buy in a little bit more. We have a really good show going here. In the past, you know, they get really annoyed with the camera crew or whatever. It might have been that team, you know. It could be kind of annoying having to wait on a production team, mic everything up, put lights up, and get the cameras going because they're trying to make money too. They're just trying to get a car out the door. But that's kind of the push and pull here at this. You know, we're a car shop and a production, a TV show, all these check boxes. Luckily, we do a really good job at it.
Yeah, how long are you guys actually filming to make, because it's a 1 hour show, right? So how long are you filming to make that one show?
I'm sure there's an equation out there that would offer this information a little bit better than what I'm about to say. But we film 40 hours a week every week. And so that's how long it takes. It's a full-time job. Built up library of content. We'll make a story out of it. We'll write the show after we have it all filmed. It's amazing what you can do with interviews. You can change everything about what you're seeing if you have an interview or a voiceover telling you what you're looking at. It really helps so much having that interview as like the backbone of your show, and then you sprinkle all the car stuff over it. So it's about 2 or 3 months to get episode 1 done.
Whoa, wow.
Let's say that. Film it all and then wait for it to be all ingested and organized for the editors to access, and then they have to start assembling it. Once we get it all filmed, though, the assembly comes pretty quick. But the filming part, you know, obviously takes the most time because you have to wait for parts, you have to wait for the process, you have to wait for paint to dry.
Our production crew's shaking their head right now like they don't want any part of that.
Yeah, I would think that you have to be how far out ahead are you then of these episodes? I mean, do you have to be at least 3 months ahead because it takes 3 months to make one?
There's no right or wrong way. There's a good way and a better way of doing things.
Sure.
But in past seasons, we were maybe a week ahead of air date, which is because you got to get this out the door, otherwise there won't be an episode. And then, there's conflict. That's not how the contract was written up. We're delivering late. So now with this new team, we deliver so early. We have all the principal photography done for season 14. We're working on principal photography for 15, but we're on 14, episode 1. So we're kind of, I guess you could say we're one season ahead.
Gotcha.
Which has never happened before.
And that's got to, I would think that would feel good, especially from your standpoint when you're trying to lead the charge, if you will, you feel more organized, like, the show's going in a good direction. It'd be hard, at least, in my thinking, it'd be hard to be 1 week ahead. Like, that would make me panicky. That would be a lot of pressure to be under.
Yeah, it's hell. Yeah, you never want to put yourself in that situation. We'll never be in that situation again. That doesn't roll with me. I don't barely make deadlines. That's crazy. So luckily we have such a good team here. I don't think we ever have to worry about hitting a deadline again.
Jeffrey, we got a few more minutes here, and I got a few questions. One, is there anything that you want to say to our listeners just about Graveyard Carz in general that our listeners should know? And then I have 2 random questions about you.
Yeah, who likes storytelling, who likes to hear stories about people's past and their convictions, their passions, to watch a show like this. And if you appreciate effort, if you do like people that are giving it their all every day, just know that that's what this team's doing here at Graveyard Carz. So if you feel like rewarding that with a view, with a like, with a talk, let's do it. Let's become the #1 car show. We're going to need all our fans' help. We're going to need some new fans as well. So let the time go. We just got to let it happen.
That's awesome. And now I have a question about you. So I've been told randomly that you have the inability to burp. Is that correct?
How does Nick know that shit? Yeah, I don't know how to burp.
You can't burp.
I'll try. I've learned, people try to teach me all the time how to burp. You swallow air. You do.
But it just never comes out naturally, huh?
Yeah. I don't know how to do it. I'll burp once a year, and it shocks me.
That's hilarious. And
when I burp, I just look around.
So then I got one more question for you.
And I got one too.
Okay, so we got 2 more questions. It's also been mentioned that you're a good dancer and you've won some dance contests at a Halloween party. Are you a break dancer?
Man, they think I'm a good dancer? Shoot. I'm gonna have to go get a beer with your cousin.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
No, I'm all about vibes, If the music's hitting, I won't be moving. Like, that's just how it is. And I think that's a good thing. I think you should be loose with yourself and go with those vibes. I'm a vibe chaser.
That's how Justin
I don't like
is.
bad vibes. I like those good ones.
That's how Justin is. His famous dancing is the sea walk. Do you remember the sea walk? Justin's pretty.
I'm getting dimed out here pretty hard. Yeah. You know what? You're going to catch me at a wedding, and I'm going to be cutting it loose. That's just how it is. That's about the only place I really dance anymore is weddings. Granted, I usually need a couple to 5 drinks to really get it going, but...
So Justin's got the final question here.
And I have those 5 drinks. I definitely drink those drinks.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
of them.
My last question here, what kind of MOPAR car do you have? What are you driving?
Oh, man, you're going to drop the dime on me like that? I'm a proud owner of a 2011 Ford Ranger XLT Super Cab. It was the last Ranger ever made before they made the new one. So whatever that means to you. Yeah, I'm really proud of my truck. It's one of my only assets, actually. I own it, and I bought it with 11 miles on it. And, you know, that was a huge accomplishment for me.
That's awesome.
As far as a Mopar, I'm not a big car guy. I never have been, nor will I likely ever become one. But I do appreciate the beauty of these cars. Choice. If Mark was to give me something, I ask for a 1971 GTX. It's the gentleman's muscle car. That's kind of wraps me up in a nutshell.
Sure. Well, Jeffrey, it's been a pleasure.
How about you guys? You have a favorite Mopar?
We both drive trucks also. I drive a GMC Sierra.
And I got a Dodge Ram. Nothing special here.
No.
So, well, it's been a pleasure having you on today,
Mark,
Jeffrey.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man. We really appreciate having you on. It's been awesome. Learned a lot about the show.
Good luck to you in the future.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate you guys' time. I was, it's an honor to be part of what you guys are doing. I love people chasing their dreams. That's exactly what you guys are doing. So if I could ever come back on, you let me know.
All right, sounds
All right,
good.
man. Appreciate
Thanks, Jeffrey.
it. Take care.
This is another episode of The Brother Side. We'll see you next time.